swine or into pigs, that we may enter into them. And forthwith Jesus gave them leave. And the unclean spirits came out of the man and entered into the pigs, or the swine. And the herds ran violently down a steep place into the sea. There were about 2,000. They were choked in the sea. I remember many years ago a philosopher talking about this. Why would these swine or pigs run into the sea when they were filled with demonic spirits? Is there something going on in the sea that they were using these animals? They were disembodied spirits. They have to be inside of a body until they can get to water, because your body is over 90% water. And if they can exist inside of your battery, inside of your body, which is, as I said, is over 90% water, is there something going on that these spirit entities need to get back into water? Just a thought. But from there, we go to Job 26, because I had remembered this scripture in Job 26, 5, that says, dead things, this is the Old Testament, dead things are formed from under the waters, and the inhabitants thereof. I think I might have, I think if you can see the footnote that said, dead things are formed from under the waters. The place where the Rephaim stay. This is a word in the Hebrew, Rephaim, which simply means the demonic creatures that live in the oceans of the world. Not great fish. Rephaim simply means great demonic creatures who inhabit the oceans. The place where the Rephaim stay, which is beneath the waters, and the things that are therein. The word dead things in the scripture is a Hebrew word for the Rephaim, the offspring of fallen angels, which are akin to the Nephilim. So there seems to be, as Zechariah and I talked about this, there seems to be something to this, because he talks about in his books the Anunnaki, I'll call it the Nephilim, those who have from heaven come down. Now, I want to go back over this and just read it. Dead things are formed from under the waters, and the inhabitants thereof. Job 26, Old Testament. And it says in the footnote, dead things are formed from under the waters, the place where the Rephaim stay, which is beneath the waters and the things that are therein. The word dead things, the Hebrew word, which means Rephaim, the offspring of fallen angels, which are akin to the Nephilim. They are formed, which means in Hebrew, they remain to this day. So the Bible is actually saying, even according to the Hebrew Tograms, which is the old rabbinical works on commentaries on the scriptures, seem to indicate that the ancient rabbis believed that there were entities who lived in the ocean. There were otherworld entities who have come here from another place, like the Anunnaki that Zechariah Sitchin talks about. But that these particular creatures hide themselves in the seas of the world, in the oceans. All of this goes back to Atlantis. All of this implies that there were ancient civilizations under the oceans. We know that's true because we're seeing these temples under the oceans of the world, and all I'm implying is that there very well might be something to this, that there were ancient prehistoric civilizations of alien life forms who have come here from other worlds hundreds of thousands of years ago, tens of thousands of years ago, and were destroyed through great floods, through great shifts in the earth crust. I'm saying there's at least a possibility there might be something to all of this. And the implication is quite simple. If I am right, and if there is a modicum of truth in this, they may still be out there today. We may still be dealing with the Rephaim, the Nephilim, or those in the ancient Hebrew tradition, the gods who came here from another time and another place. The word, incidentally, I don't know if you know this, but when you read in the scriptures, about how the demons are cast into the abyss, or the devil comes out of the abyss, or whatever. There's many different scriptures in the Bible talking about the demons who live in the abyss, or who come out of the abyss, or demons that are cast into the abyss. The abyss means water. So when you hear about the demons cast into the abyss, it means aqua, it means water. Actually, there was a motion picture made not too long ago called The Abyss. And in that movie, The Abyss, was about under the oceans. Ultimately, the divers in this diving submarine they hit something and their life is now in danger. They can't come up and they're going to die. And all of a sudden, entities from another world, entities, come to save them. And instead of bringing them to the surface, they take them deeper down into a city at the bottoms of the ocean. Well, even George Lucas, with his Star Wars, has that silly-looking creature running around with the long ears, and it dives into the ocean, remember, and everyone dives with him, and they go down into this underwater city. There are many, many different movies that have been made about underwater cities that are created by the Nephilim, or gods from another world. I'm just saying there's too much smoke not to be a fire. I'm suspecting there may be something to all of this. Incidentally, in relation to all of this, and the bottom line of what I'm presenting is quite simply, I think that there is something to the idea that we are the creation of a higher civilization which have created us. They are watching us. They are monitoring us. I think that this is what the alien abductions might be all about. They are monitoring their creation. They're watching us. They're checking our interior of our bodies to see if we've evolved or if we're in some way mutating. And so I believe there's something to this going on. I think we're being watched by our masters. Now, but in Genesis 4, there's an interesting story that's caused a lot of discussion too, about Adam and Eve have two sons, Cain and Abel. And we're told that Cain kills his brother, Abel. In chapter 4, it goes on to say, and Cain talked with his brother Abel, and it came to pass that when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew him. The story in the Bible, many of you know, is that how Cain and Abel were the first two sons of Adam and Eve. So we got four people in the garden, or in this particular area. We have the first male and female, Adam and Eve, who are told to redo the earth again, replenish it. And so the first try at replenishing the earth, they have two sons, Cain and Abel. But then Cain, typical of humans, kills his brother. Now he's got problems. Cain has to deal with the Creator who didn't give him permission to go kill his brother. And so when God, or the gods, discover that Cain has killed his brother, we're talking about now only three people on the earth. Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel. Cain kills Abel. Now we got Adam and Eve and Cain. But then in the scripture, after that, we are told in Genesis 4 that when God finds out that Cain has killed his brother, interesting scripture here, I think. It says in Genesis 4:13, and Cain said unto the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid. And I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that every one that findeth me shall slay me. And the Lord said, therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken upon him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest anyone finding him should kill him. And Cain went out from that presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod. The point I'm making here is that Cain is afraid to be sent out of the garden or the protected area, because he says that everyone out there that will find me will kill me. he thinks there's somebody out there. I mean, God said there's Adam and Eve and the first